Hello, my name's Harry Tambuatco, and our guest, we have the spokesperson of the Sultanate for the North Borneo. We're talking the Sultanate of Sulu, and we have Abraham Ijirani. Abraham, what do we do with now the president who's coming in 2013? Because a couple of years back, if I remember right, the Royal Army went to go after to protect and to stand their ground on property they believe they own, which they do. So in other words, it may have been a private army, but not against the Filipinos or against the AFP, but against the Malaysians who continue to hold Sabah and restrict it just for themselves. Correct me if that's wrong, if that's correct. If I'm wrong, rather. So pumunta sila doon, and then the government of the Philippines said, sabi ni Noynoy, hindi pwede yan, mali yan, ginagawa niyo mali. Hinuli pa at kinondem pa ang sultan. Correct?
Thank you very much, Harry, for giving us the opportunity to shed light on the issue. Number one, pumunta ho si Raja Muda is because nahirapan na about the economic, situation of the constituent of the Sultanate of Sulu.
Yung mga tao doon,
yung mga
naninirahan
Basilan Sulu ang tawi-tawi. Basilan Sulu ang tawi-tawi.
Okay.
So, in order not to, disturb the peace and tranquility of our country, particularly in the southern part of the Philippines, Basilan Sulu ang tawi-tawi, instead of suffering, sabi ng mga tauhan, Your Highness, since Sabah belongs to us, atin yan, pumunta na lang tayo doon.
Oh, maganda naman.
Now,
kanya rin naman.
Yes, in fact, Harry, I am a witness to that. The average age ng pumunta doon is 45 years old. So kung royal security force yun, mahirap sila lalaban sa mga about yung average age ng military 20. So nang pumunta sila doon, immediately, without resorting to to police investigation by the Sabah Police Authority, declared that the Sultanate of Sulu is encroaching or intruding the territory of Sabah. Now, what is the purpose of Malaysia's declaration on that matter? Sapagkat that's the only way para sabihin sa buong mundo, amin ito, but hiding the truth that they are the inheritor to the greatest land grab of, in the history of mankind. So, para matakpan, binigyan, hinaluan ng political aspects ang pagpunta doon sapagkat itong mga sumama ay marunong magsalita ng bahasa Malay. They were workers in factories, in farms, in department stores. In fact, they went there because para makahanap ng trabaho so that they can provide livelihood assistance to their families in the archipelago of Sulu. Ngunit because Malaysia considered it as the way to protect their interests at all costs, declared that Raja Muda and the 235 supporters, invaders and royal security forces. Now, what happened? Why they became royal security force? In line with the commandments of the Almighty God. Kasi there is a great teaching of the Holy Prophet, hadith of the Holy Prophet, ang sabi, O ye Muslim, pag halimbawa inyo ang lupang yan, tapos hindi niyo pansinin. Now, sabi niya, one of the doors of heaven will not allow you to enter paradise. So, in order...
So, responsibilidad mo rin yun, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. So,
it's part of faith.
Part of faith.
Sige.
Now, in order not to be, cast aside by the Almighty God.
If that's what you believe in.
Not to defend what belongs to them. Now, but the purpose was really to wage war because how can you expect 235 unarmed people fighting against the might of the
army and the police,
royal armies, the police of the Malaysian government, with submarines and all that. I don't see any reason that the Raja Muda and the 235 followers went there to fight. But to live in peace, to be understood by Malaysian, to talk about...
So what you're saying is Malaysia rejected them, pinalabas their invaders.
That's right.
Pero ano nangyari dito? Bakit si Presidente Pinoy Sinabi niya, tama Malaysians. Mali ang ginagawa niyo. Pinamali niya pa yung sultan. Correct, because I remember Pastor Saicon, binatak pa nga siya sa NBI, kini-question siya.
Oo.
Eh sabi nga ng sultan, but what is there to invade? It's my property. Di ba?
That's the situation we cannot understand. That's why we are appealing to this administration to advise all advisors, including the legal part, the legal department of Malacanang, to study about the historic and legal basis. Only that way, Harry, that this administration and the Sultan of Sulu, headed by Sultan Ismail Kiram II, can work together closely in approaching the problem.
It is a singular objective of the Sultan to work with the government of the Philippines, not to fight against it.
Right.
Correct? It is also the singular objective of the Sultanate not to create a crisis between Christian and Muslim.
Right.
This is not a religious war.
Right.
It is but the singular objective of the Sultanate to claim what is due them because of its own faith, belief, and realities that they do own it. There is that other issue. Malaysia pays you, the Sultanate, 77,000 every year. Is this correct?
Yes.
Now, if they pay you every year, what is the purpose of this payment?
Well, that clearly shows legally
Rent.
and that is a rent. However, Harry, this the translation of the word hasil patahunan, meaning annual payment,
Annual payment.
was altered
It was altered.
in 1879 when our president purchased all the lease rights owned by Overbeek, and because of that, becoming the sole ownership.
Layman terms. You're very historical. Layman terms. Ano nangyari?
Ang nangyari doon, bininta ni Overbeek ang karapatan niya lease rights kay our president.
Okay.
Nung nasa kanya na ang karapatan, lahat ng lease rights obtained doon sa 1878 lease agreement. Ang ginawa ni our president, nag-hire siya ng 2 Britons to render translation to the word pajak and hasil patahunan.
Okay.
Oh, now. So, ang pajak is a Malay word which means lease. Was translated by the to British subjects as cession.
Session. May session doon.
Yes,
Sige,
yes.
sige,
Now,
sige. So may confusion dyan.
Yes. Now, hasil patahunan, again, is a Malay word, also a Tausug word, or ethnic groups in the Philippines, na which means annual payment, translated to session monies.
Meaning
Session in perpetuity, whatever payment they would like to render is only out of their hearts according to the recent statement of the Malaysian Foreign Minister.
out of their hearts.
Out of their kindness.
So, translation nila yun.
Translation, that was a unilateral translation, Harry, which established the crux of controversy of the issue.
Yeah. But, correct me if I'm wrong, kung nagbibigay ka annual payment, maski kanino, does that not represent rent?
Yun na nga.
Diretsuhan lang, rent.
Rent. In fact, if Malaysia really follows the commandment of the Almighty God, malaki ang kasalanan nila, Harry. Sapagkat ito ang tinatawag na kumakain sila ng pawis, hindi sila ang nagpawis.
Hindi sa kanila.
Hindi sa kanila. So, the judgment is in the life hereafter.
So, yeah. But never mind. Mamaya pa yung buhay nila. Ang problema, it's currently invasion.
Yeah, ang point ko dito, Harry, is that, yung nakuha nila inherited rights in 1963 from Great Britain, hindi sovereignty, lease rights.
Lease rights.
Because sa hanggang ngayon, after Great Britain, after the British North Borneo Company, Great Britain, after Great Britain, the Federation of Malaysia. The government of Malaysia, until now, is paying rent to the 9 principal heirs.
Yan ang maliwanag. Upa. Pag sinabi mo upa. Let's go up to the present because we're gonna finish this episode now shortly. Let's go to the present. Now we have the BBL. We've established 1, we own Sabah. 2, there is no religious war between the Sultanate, Sabah, or the Philippines, or even the people from Mindanao. 3, the MILF, MNLF, BIFF, JIM, and whatever will come up in the future are totally independent and indifferent to the Sultanate. Correct?
Correct.
And the faith, the Muslim faith of the Sultanate is but a faith that delivers and establishes what they rightly own, which they gave sovereignty to the Republic of the Philippines, being Filipino. Correct?
Correct.
So if we establish all of that, now we have a situation where we have a real crisis at hand. I will bring you up to date, which is basically the BBL. All of a sudden, may Bangsamoro Basic Law. All of a sudden, ang gobyerno natin lumalapit sa Malaysia, nakikiusap sa kanila para ayusin itong sitwasyon natin dito sa mga nanggugulo na MILF, when in reality, tinataguan ang real issue. Sabah. Correct me. Do you people see it in the same way? These issues that you're seeing today, it started with the Mama Sapana that opened the eyes of the Filipino. Then you've got the BBL and the OPAP that come on, and you've got these two Malaysians. You've got Iqbal and Jafar. All of a sudden, ang issue is BBL and Bangsamoro. Hindi kaya lahat itong nangyayari is a creeping invasion so that we can deter the interest of the people, the minds of the people, when in the reality is, this is all about Sabah at pinamimigay nitong gobyerno nito. How do you all feel about that?
Well, ang feeling namin, we were betrayed by historical events. We were betrayed.
And continuing to be betrayed.
To be betrayed. Kasi, Harry, dito, bakit ang purpose of the Jabeda fiasco is now translated into a misleading conception. Halimbawa, the MNLF is celebrating that because that is the birth of
war.
Of independence.
Birth of independence in Mindanao.
Of political independence of Mindanao. But to the Sultanate of Sulu, that is the birth, for the first time, Malaysia was able to intervene in the affairs of the Muslim in the Philippines.
That is correct.
Because that's the only way Malaysia could protect at all costs Sabah when Malaysia could convince the Muslim in the Philippines to adopt the Indian, the government in the United States against the native Indian, yung tinatawag na reverse arrow. Meaning the barrel of the guns nakabaliktad na against the Philippines government. Because here is the situation, Harry. Why Malaysia immediately allowed the 90 batch of Filipino Muslim patriots to undertake training in Johor, in Pangkor Island, Johor, Malaysia, if it has no hidden agenda. So, by that, because of that training in Pangkor Island, Johor, Malaysia, that blossomed into what was called the Moro National Liberation Front, with a political aspiration to secede Mindanao, Sulu, and Palawan from the Republic of the Philippines. Now, you cannot blame the Muslim because after World War II, the Muslim feared that they are being neglected, isolated by the national government because of their leaders also in their areas who neglected them instead of implementing the programs of government for their welfare. The leaders in the ground, in connivance with the temporary occupants of Malacanang, utilize all programs to benefit only their political protege. So majority of the Muslims became contentious. Lumaban. Lumaban sila because sabi nila, as if we are not part of this country. So doon nagumpisa ang kwan. Now, because of that situation, pagdating ng Jabeda Massacre, utilizing that as a mechanism, to instigate Muslim anger against the government, so lahat ng Muslim ay lumaban sa gobyerno. Now, but in the belief, I would say, that this war, the Mindanao conflict, is to liberate the Muslim from political, economic, and cultural bondages.
We're going to have to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. I even stretched that episode because I didn't want to stop Abraham here with the passion pushing forward the realities, truths that you and I don't even realize. Stay with us because as we come back in this last episode, we will bring you up to date to where exactly we are now and what is happening so that you may understand the falsity called the BBL. We'll be right back.